Hey, how's it going? Excuse me. This here is the first video, or actually it's not the first, it's the second that I'm putting out, but the first actually went on my original channel. Things have been wacky with my phones and my security and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So, I had left a note in the posts section on my other YouTube channel, and I didn't know that I was going to be able to get this camera today because I'm not going to take you through all of the steps, but it has required patience that I didn't even really have it, to be honest. But I did want to get this done. I knew that I had to. Look, I was working on it from 9:30 this morning until like 5 in the afternoon. Like, it was a full work day. I could barely go to the bathroom. I didn't eat until after. It was like, for me, crazy stressful, but I did get it worked out. I still have, well, I'm not going to bore you with that. So, the video that I had been wanting to make for so long, that I was having to wait for so long to do because of the camera issues, I can now do. And I had written a piece about it. It was notes, but it turned into more. So let's just start with that. The title is Empatheater. You can't just use it for emergencies. Not if you'll have some for this one occasion that's chosen. For some reason, not at all rooted in the principles of empathy, my intonation on that was all whacked out, but yeah, I'm not going to repeat it again. I feel like empathy is a feature of unconditional love. I feel like if either is parsed out, it's all kinds of conditional. Who the fuck am I to be making such a broad determination? Well, first of all, I'm not doing that. I'm simply voicing an observation that may, in a way, be mostly directed at myself. Mostly because I can't not think of the cause and effect we spend our lives creating that effect upon each other. That is what I get snagged on. I'm not saying I'm immune to the same impulse. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not saying that. I find myself harboring petty resentments. Emphasis on petty there. They are petty and they're mine. We are the ones getting miffed at things other people are doing. Getting all worked up, getting myself all worked up, which can lead to us thinking and saying we feel some kind of way because of someone else and what they did, when it's more like the way we ourselves let ourselves believe it to be, so we can excuse ourselves, so we can blame others for behavior we chose ourselves. The question is, why do we do it? A lot of us do it, but it's not today's question. Today's is, why do we withhold our true feelings? Why, and in place of feeling, not allowing anyone else, not allowing everyone else a look at what we're feeling. In truth, not allowing everyone a look at what we're feeling in truth. Intonation's getting all messed up again. We might be ashamed, and we might think people can see our shame. If we don't put it out there, who the hell knows what's going on with us, really, unless we say so. We all have a public face. Our level of deflection and protection, or our layer, I should say, the one we wear to hide how we really feel. I mean, about ourselves. The something we are trying not to show has affected us. The wounds we wear all the time. In some cases, a long time. It's there all the while for a lot of us. Some unhealed hurt that's relatively fresh or nearly invisible, like scar over a healed wound, except it isn't healed, or else why the mask? I think of that and the way we value and dispense with each other. I'm thinking of what's behind the masks, why we wear them. It is painful then to see empathy reduced to need on a scale. I see it and wonder, is that how you'd like empathy dispensed to you? It seems insurmountable to shed the inclination to not... It seems insurmountable to shed the inclination to empathize first, to remove the masks and bear our burns and scars. Sometimes I feel like if we showed our maskless faces and saw the marks there, I didn't really, that doesn't sound complete, and I just kind of ended it there, but I feel like if we were more vulnerable and let people see, like instead of acting out, saying, this is actually what's wrong with me, I'm hurt by this, this happened when I was a child, or it happened 20 minutes ago, but it just broke me and I can't act right. But we don't really do that. It's a shame. Let's see, where was I? Mark so many of us wear. What's to fear? What's there to feel ashamed of? We don't share that. In an effort not to fall into traps that could land me in stickier traps, it's better for me in the present to try not to lend weight to offenses and offenders. To be massively forgiving, to be most forgiving to ourselves. That's almost harder than things or people we made unforgivable to ourselves. I mean, like, when we just are done with people or situations and we just write it off and, like, that's it. Although, you can change your mind. Those kinds of things can turn around. But by lending weight to offenses and offenders, I mean, like, it's hard not to take stuff personally, but you don't know what's behind the mask making somebody act crazy to you. So, I mean, it's just, if somebody's acting out and you're just, like, not on that same level, and maybe you're trying to, like, help or, be supportive, and to have them the imaginary person kind of go off on you, and you didn't do anything, and you have no context for it, we don't often think of the mask that's hiding whatever's making that happen. You know, we just think like what we're seeing is what we get. Like, this is them and this is how they are, and they suck. But you might not think that if you knew more, you know? So that's where empathy would come in. No, it's not easy, but it's probably like really a good idea. I feel like it's a good idea. Let's see here. I don't struggle to empathize, but I've had the unenviable experiences myself, where you have like a situation where you need help, or you need someone to care that something happened to you that was upsetting or hurtful. And sometimes you come across those people that like just look at it and go, so? Bootstraps, or laugh, just think it's funny. And boy, there's a lot of that kind of attitude. It's like a kind of a cruelty thing. Kind of totally a cruelty thing. And I mean, wow, there's a lot of personal pendulums that have swung way in that direction. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they start falling the other way. Where was I? I can empathize with others by wishing they never have it happen to them. Oh, never have it happen upon others. Yeah, you don't want the person without empathy to be the only person there in your time of need. But you also, if you have empathy, don't want that person to suffer because they are cruel for whatever reason, you know? Like, I'm sure there's a gamut of reasons why, you know, you could respond to kindness, or I don't want to use kindness. You respond to people being nice to you, in a number of ways, and it's not always gratitude. Like, you just don't know what you're gonna get with people, and that is the situation where you have to be even more empathetic and just think like, okay, I mean, at the very least, think like, okay, I can take a deep breath, or I can step back in my head and go, whoa, this person, like, they got something going on. I need to like step back, or, you know, whatever it is, to where you're not responding in kind, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. So, I gather the equation isn't so simple for all of us to compute. It doesn't matter for some about what happened to others over there that was bad, like, some people just don't care, I guess. Like I said, it could be for a lot of reasons, and that's not really what we're talking about right now, though. Except generally. Which brings us to empatheater. Dishing out dump loads of trash talk or behavior, and then turning around and whining when they get negative feedback. It doesn't necessarily even reach that level. In most cases, all there is just plain feedback. The ear-ringing type, though, I guess, like the kind that rings in your ears, gets your attention, perhaps reverberates in your ear uncomfortably, so you can't ignore it, and it might not be the nicest sensation, but it gets your attention. Sorry. In other cases, it isn't that at all. Sometimes no reaction is given, and that seems to be the biggest insult for those in the market, for one, because it comes across as unfeeling, pointed ignoring, that is a self-construction, though, or like a story this person is telling themselves. In all likelihood, what if in all likelihood it's people leaving you to yourself to go ahead and get on with it? Whatever you've gotten yourself into, I'm just checking to see if I didn't just write it so I don't say it and then repeat it again. I'm not really seeing it, but when people see you in trouble, where I'm saying it's probably going to be like emotional trouble, where you're not like on fire, or you don't have like a compound fracture with a bone sticking out, or some life-threatening thing. Like, this is more of like, well, empathy is going to work best on like emotions and things like that, I think. So, but if you are that person that was cruel and did all this trash talking and didn't just have like anything nice to say about other people, then even empathetic people are going to be like, maybe you just need to go through this one yourself. Sometimes that may be the most empathetic thing you can do. Versions. Everyone's individual iteration of the same event, not truth. That's too specific, and the truth is subjective to a man, so to speak. So no single hard truths, because versions, like, we all have one. We all have a perspective that is probably gonna differ slightly from everyone else. So many scenarios and stories, whatever, like, it has come up. I'm sure everyone has heard it before, that everyone, here's what, this is better, because this is what I thought of when I originally was writing this. I thought of the story of the 5 blind men and the elephant, or the 3 blind men, whatever. I think it's 3, but they're either actually blind or blindfolded, and they're brought up to an elephant, and they're each given a spot to touch, and each man thinks it's a different thing that is not the thing that it actually is at all. And I'm just realizing, did they have nose clips on too? Because, I mean, elephants have a smell and they just poop periodically because they gotta eat constantly. Listen, I can't believe... Okay, it's just like a parable or something, so no noses, I guess. But yeah, I mean, these guys, these blindfolded people, they don't have to be men, these guy people, units, are each touching a different spot on the elephant, and what they feel is not only not the elephant, but not what they think it is either. And the thing about it is literally the reason why is because they cannot see the whole picture. Which is unfortunate if the person is actually, like, just blind and not blindfolded. That seems mean to do that to them. But that's how the truth is for us, though, and that's why I feel like I can no longer look at it like, the truth is this, when it's more like, something happened. Some of us were actually on hand to witness it. Some of us know by word of mouth and however else. But I lost my place. What was I saying? Oh, But even that way, like, what I was thinking of was like the event, or the event that the person that the event happened to being at the hub of the event that everyone witnesses and has a different version of the truth of what happened during the event due to their, could be, varying proximity, or they heard it from someone, or there's so many factors that could even affect a bunch of people seeing the same thing at the same time and still coming out with a slightly different interpretation. Because presumably these people are not blindfolded, like, they are able to see the whole picture. So anyway, that's it. That's it for the notes. I do have some cards. What am I running into that I want to read real quick? Or, yeah, I can pretty much just read these. Oh, I think I might have this in the wrong order, wrong direction. Excuse me. So, okay. Set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. Kindred spirits, passion, follow your heart. Nope. I don't see how it works into the whole empathy scheme. Although, you do, if you're going to spend your empathy, you do want to spend it on those who fan your flames and set you on fire, or set your life on fire. In a good way, though. You don't want the other kind, I don't think. So yeah, kindred spirits, someone like yourself that gets you, and passion, follow your heart. That's where you'll find the passion chasing after. Okay, next card is this here. And that is the wrong direction. Oh, I see what I did. No, I don't. They got out of order. Hold on. That shouldn't be that way. Okay, so here's the next one. Live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. Have confidence. Keep the faith. You are supported. I mean, this does not talk about other people giving you what you need. It really talks more about sort of self-confidence and like being in that place where you're in the groove, like you are making your happy noise, and it feels good. It's something that you want to be doing because it draws you in. The reaction of the people watching, they might join in, they might dance. That gives the musician, the performer, something that is not a drink or cash. It is something you share emotionally, and I would say also like another component of unconditional love, like empathy. But to have that connection with people, I don't see how that's not a similar thing as empathy as well. Oh, I'll let you see that. Let the water settle and the stars will be mirrored in you. Taking a break, time away, brings clarity. Someone went out to sea to find themselves and ended up in the flat Sargasso Sea. Well, we do need to break away and take time to ourselves as much as we can. It's not always possible to just be completely alone all the time, but you can make spaces and spots for yourself to do it for brief time periods. But you need to, because sometimes you have to just be able to, like, empathize for yourself. You know, like, you have to be the other person empathizing with and for yourself. And, I think I think we all need these periods, especially, well, I mean, for like, if you look at it from one extreme end and you are a very empathetic person, but the more empathetic you are, the more it kind of takes out of you, because you are exchanging a lot of energy or giving out a lot, expending a lot to sort of transmute what you come into contact with when you're dealing with someone who's like hurting in pain. Like, you gotta alchemize that shit so you don't take it on, and that you get, that takes energy, you know. Like, you're still a person. You're not super person. And then also, my mind is brought back to the unempathetic person that finds himself in the position where they're like, wait, I need someone to care about this thing that's hurting me. And that time when people are like, you'll figure it out. This is someplace that you have to make for yourself, inside yourself. Unless, like, maybe you can go someplace where it's quiet and deserted and, you know, feel the outside world blowing wind on you and sun shining down and little bits of sand or whatever in the air hitting your shoe, like, whatever, like, you know, you're outdoors, you know. But sometimes you don't have that, so you have to, like, you know, make it in your head, imagine it, meditate on it. That's a good way to transport yourself, really, is meditating. If you do it enough, you'll get there. It doesn't happen at first. Or, I mean, it depends on how, like, open you are, I guess, consciousness-wise. That helps with you being able to, like, meditate and then sort of begin to access, like, that other side of awareness. Anyway, this just makes me think, you know, sometimes you just have to, like, remember a pleasant vacation or one that you dreamt of, and, like, whatever it is. But I feel like it's a take yourself out of where you are, however you can, and then spend time in that space and do whatever you don't always do. Like, just don't do any of that. And then, you know, things can come to you and you can straighten yourself out if your emotions are all scrunched up. Okay, so here's the next one. Where there's ruin, there's hope for a treasure. Rough time, good outcome. Everything will work out okay. So maybe you already had the rough time, or maybe going into this stage, it was rough. But as you can see, the water is flat. The sails are full. They're certainly not drooping and sagging. So you have some momentum. Like, you don't have to do anything but just sit there and relax and take in the sky, listen to the sounds. Water is so relaxing. Anyway, so maybe you had the ruin, you know, and you're this is also a quiet place, you know, a contemplative place. But this is more like, someone could walk up on you at any time, or you might be with other people, you know. But it's also interesting, like, what might you need empathy for like, this also makes me think of, wait, if you're not camping and this is where you live now, that's saying your home life with the walls and the roof and the locking doors and windows, that is what got ruined, and you're just like starting fresh. Or maybe, you know, like the colors are reminding me of like the recent fires in California where people were displaced from their homes, and there were lots of people that had to be in tents, and so you know, there was ruins from there, and then whatever they're moving on to, it's a step up from ruins, so it's going to be treasure. But, you know, metaphorically, when you're upset and you're trying to get yourself out of it, like, I feel like this is the next stage from floating out alone. Like, you can only go up from the ground, right? Everything will work out okay. When you start to walk, the way appears. Taking steps, beginning again, creating the life you truly want. So, you know, the empathy thing really is not about, like, any type of ruin, although, I mean, not like being displaced from your home because of a fire or whatever else can land you out on the street. It's usually kind of traumatic, like, that's pretty much the deal. But like when you hit bottom, you only got one way to go, and that's up. Or, you know, you take the first step to your new life, your new beginning. And actually, if you do go through something like that and you didn't have empathy, that situation, the losing everything and hitting rock bottom, that turns some people around, and they begin to understand, like, oh, that is a horrible way to live. Now that I live on the street, I get it. I was horribly mean to people, and I didn't understand that their life was a mask, and I had no idea what was going on with them that landed them here, and what's going on with them now that they're, you know, without a home on the street. Yeah, that's quite something to come back from. And we have that thing in at least American United States society that certain people just don't get what's happening. Like I was saying when I was reading, they don't really care about what happened to that person over there. But they do when they are that person, when the stuff starts happening to them. And so that's one of those situations where you might have the empathetic people going, maybe you should just go through this so you can, like, finally get it. That's what I meant. Some people don't really get it until they experience it firsthand themselves. A lot of stuff going on there, like recovering from whatever you went through and starting a new life, starting anew, and with a sense of empathy, like finally that switch, that toggle flipped or whatever, and you now understand, like, okay, I get an idea of why that's bad. I feel for you. That's what you're looking for. I feel for you. So, okay, that's it. Yay, I did it. I finally got out of my system. I got another one waiting for the next set. Thank you and good night.